I recently made a video about my net worth at 27, and one of the comments was, can you make a video going over your budget, including what goes to savings and investments? So this video is that. Now what's interesting is I have a custom Excel spreadsheet that I have built out and optimized over multiple years. So I'm going to jump on the screen and share that with you and go over the budget. Okay, so let's go over first my income. So I have multiple streams of income, multiple jobs, and this is just kind of a minimum that I would like to hit every month. So there's going to be some months that are a lot higher. The main thing I focus on is to not go lower than this amount. So this is basically the absolute minimum. If I'm below this, it's cause for concern. Ideally, I'd like to be above it, but since this is a budget, we have to budget for the worst case scenario. And in this income, I'm budgeting for the worst case scenario. And then the expenses. So the expenses, same thing. I estimate a lot of things a little bit higher than what they might actually be. And once I open up and show you the real results month to month, you're going to see that it does become quite accurate. So job 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 is contract, which means my tax. I have to kind of consider taxes to set aside taxes out of that. The other ones might not automatically deduct enough. So I have a certain amount I want to save for taxes. Then there's consulting, which would be somebody reached out. Oh, hey, Brett, help me with my YouTube channel AdSense, which I can show you how much I've made from that. Interest from just basic interest in the banks. And now this is just, I consider as my operational budget. So this does not include my investment gains. Right now I have debt payoff $275, and let's say we have a month where it's 4,000, I make 6. That difference goes towards the debt payoff. Okay, so right now I'm not really too focused on investing. I have a little bit of investments, which I used in a RSP to defer taxes, which you can watch in my video about my net worth, and I explain that in more detail. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're loving the video so far, I'd love it if you hit like and subscribe. It'd mean the world to a small channel. Then my expenses here are rent, $1,500, rent or insurance. This is blank because it's yearly, same as auto insurance. Auto maintenance is very intermittent. Medical, dental in Canada, you don't have too many of those expenses, but I should still put a little bit in there because you do pay out of pocket for some things. Like I just paid a couple $100 for contact lenses, and when I go get dental work, I'll have to pay like 20%. However, we have the rent, power, internet, mobile phone, and these things on average are less. So the internet's usually like 95, the power sometimes over 100, sometimes less. Let's actually open this up and show you January. So January, as you can see, our income was below target. Now this has changed somewhat through the years, so it used to be lower. But as you can see, in January, I did not have a job 4 here. So that's what set me back. So I have all my income, which adds up to the total income. Now, I don't have my expenses listed because I use another program called Quicken, which is basically like a kind of a QuickBooks thing, but more for personal use. I just put in here a couple key areas that I really want to pay attention to, like the rent, the power, the internet, the mobile phone. Those are all fixed. So the mobile's like 77, internet's exactly the same every month, power varies a bit, but most of these are fixed, right? Clothing varies a bit, but I still have them in there because it falls within this kind of this miscellaneous part. As long as I'm under 3115, we're in good shape. Auto fuel is important because a lot of my jobs are in the field where I do a significant amount of driving around and long distances to go visit locations. Credit card cash back, I redeem on the last day of every month. I earn that month in cash back, so this way I can track. I pay a $9.99 fee. Did I get my money's worth out of it to get my cash back, to make sure it's worth it? And usually it is, because since I said I'm a field rep, it's mostly the gas and groceries, and that since I spend so much on gas, I get 3% back instead of 2%. I've done the math. and I believe that extra $10 is worth it, but maybe not. It depends, it kind of depends on the month, but overall, it's been going good. There's always room for improvement. You don't have to be perfect. Restaurants and fast food, 50-month, groceries, 450, and something once we get into the more recent months that something really interesting comes up in that. So let's expand another month here. We had a bad month here, a really, really low income month. And this is when I started getting nervous because the target was 3. So then shortly thereafter, I said, that's it. We need to pick up another job. Like, for example, here it's under 4, and I said we need. So then J4 came in, 49, right? Then 1,000. Then we in June. And then we've now been consistently not just at 4,000, but 5,300, 5,500. August might be closer to 6. So as you can see down here, the profit percent, this is kind of like a P&L statement. And then my expenses, I just put negative my total operational expenses. And as you can see, some of these months here, the gas bill is higher in this month. I had a much higher earning. The gas bill is higher in July, and I had a much higher earning. So even though these are over the budget, the earnings up here made way up for it. Same thing with groceries, 450. Look, in budget, 540, 520, 498. I'm like, wow, I'm over budget. But also, I'm looking at the cupboards. I'm like, okay, I'm taking advantage of some deals here, kind of stocking up. It's going to go down. And then you can see in July, it went down. So between the both, out of 500, I was 412, so $80 under budget. And then in August, probably once I reconcile at the end of the month, it's going to be the same thing, where groceries again is under budget because I'm working through everything I built up. And by the way, I do look at I use up the back of the cabinets. When I see stuff, that's been sitting there for a while. I make sure to use it up, not just let it sit there, because I do not like to waste stuff. I literally never ever throw out food. I will always try to use it up because we can't waste stuff like that. It's very wasteful. Now, the expense is 3,115, so we're always usually under 29, right? 30, we're getting close. 32.73. I'm like, okay, I'm a bit over. Why is that? I look, groceries was a bit higher, gas was a bit higher. But part of that was going into this higher income and getting more groceries. Same thing here, higher. And now we have been trending higher here. Now part of this is because the gas is up. Now 3,190. Gas is $150 more than it should be. Otherwise this would be under budget. And I made over $1,000 more with that extra $150 in gas. So that to me is absolutely worth it. So because I have so many diversified income streams, and I have some personal expenses associated with that, which I do get mileage for. So this isn't like a perfect budget, but that's why I use Quicken as like a QuickBooks thing where I can categorize different things. And at the end of the year, separate my mileage from my actual income, look at all my vehicle expenses and see, did I actually get reimbursed enough to cover all my vehicle expenses? Which the answer is, it depends on the year, depends what kind of vehicle problems I had. One year I might be down a couple thousand, but I got a new transmission. And then the next year, smooth sailing, and I'm up a couple thousand. So it balances out over a multi-year average with the mileage. And then profit, so 22%, that's the target. We have, 6 minus 26. Now this is just kind of, the month-to-month cash flow. What's important is at the end of the year, because there are going to be up and down months. Now, if we go down here, and by the way, I have more coming once I expand it out further here to the total summaries, as you can see, total of irregular. Okay, so for example, just kind of random stuff, which I look at this kind of as capital costs. So like these kind of should be operation. I know, guys, this is not perfect. It's a work in progress, as you can see at the bottom here. Over the years, I have changed it a lot. Every year it gets a little bit better. In 2026, I'm going to improve it even some more, and maybe I'll sell a template once it gets better and better and more organized, especially good for people with multiple streams of income. So yeah, right now, all this extra profit, as you can see here, like we're having some better months. In a perfect scenario, I would look at this and say, okay, now I have the target of 885. As long as I have an emergency account, all of that goes to investing. Okay, except for miscellaneous, which $100, buy some stuff here and there. So I would target to invest at least $1,000 a month, because the debt here will be paid off, that $275, which will then take the profit target to over $100. And then the goal would be to invest $1,000 a month. And when we have some months like you see here that are $2,000 profit, $2,300 profit, $1,100 profit, if it wasn't for my debt payoff, then these would be even higher. So we would have a few hundred extra. Like in this month, we'd have maybe 300 or 400. I can then decide, is there something I want to buy, or should I just invest it? And usually there's not too much I want to buy. There's very few things I'm genuinely interested in buying. I'm kind of more of a minimalist person, and the way I look at it is I want to invest this so then I can get to a place where the interest and dividends and even capital gains grow to a point where the interest coming in can pay for that stuff. Instead of my hard work and cash flow paying for it, the income from my investments then can pay for the leisurely items. So that's how I look at that. So now, like, these random income and expenses would be things if I put a down payment on a car or sell a car or something. Those are the one-offs. I want to make sure I have those in here, but those aren't necessarily part of my budget, because I might sell a car in 1 month and then a month later buy it, or vice versa. And that's, separate from what my day-to-day operational expenses would be. That's more capital. You could almost say, kind of like this bottom you would also put, like, if I had huge capital gains or a windfall, whatever, would be irregular expenses and income, whereas up here is all the regular expenses and income. Now at the end here, I like to track so you can see year-to-date income from each of the jobs, all the different categories, the total for the year, what the percentages are, so you can see we're, with the different jobs here, pretty close to 30, 30, 30, 16, and that's because this one's more recent. This one is gonna have some larger income months, but overall it's pretty diversified between these 4 different sources of income. And then of course miscellaneous, tax refund, gig. Like sometimes Sunday evenings I'm bored, it's nice outside, I'm like, oh, let's go for a drive, and then I go do a couple Uber Eats or DoorDash deliveries and might make like $100 or $150 in a month just doing that to kind of go get some fresh air, which throughout the year just adds up another $1,000 and pretty easy money. Go pick up a pizza for myself and deliver someone else's to pay for it. So that's a nice little thing. And then I have it coded in here to show me where it's in the green and where it's in the not necessarily to budget. I could change that if I wanted, but as long as we're in the green, it's good. Then down here, since I said some of my jobs don't take enough tax because of the complications with 4 of them and the contract positions, I really want to have at least 20% set aside, because what happened with this $2,500 here, and then I just paid another $1,000, was I ended up having a tax bill of about $3,900. So this was $2,500, then I paid the remainder. I literally just paid that in August. So those would be irregular income and expenses, but I want to make sure that I have as much wiggle room as possible and I'm keeping good track of my budget. So like I said, this isn't perfect. That's one thing I would like to improve, is maybe, but also keep it simple, because that could complicate it a little bit to where on here, like, just this is just my after tax like this is cash accounting, not accrual, not itemized. Ideally for job 1, I would have on here the gross income, how much tax they took off, how much the expense reimbursements were, all separated on 3 different lines. And then I can put a formula in here to calculate based on that, exactly based on that. If we're in January, just take that, times it by 12 as an estimate towards what my tax rate would be. So then I can see if what they took off was accurate or not. And then I could put in an exact number of how much I should have set aside. But I don't want to get into that nitty gritty. So I'm just like, you know what? I target 20%. Say my marginal tax rate's 30%. I know they're going to take off some, at least 10%, 15 to 20. Then this leaves me with a solid amount left over to cover taxes, which it was definitely a little tight this year. And as you can see, profit after irregular. So this is after everything said and done. I'm a little bit under the budget. So operationally, am I operating within the budget? 22.13, and I'm at 21.52. By the end of August, we should get this to be over the 22% target, which leaves... Hey, so I know that one might have been a little bit rough around the edges. Like I said, I'm no super genius, okay? What's important is that I continue to get better and improve that spreadsheet. Every year, 2026, I'm going to change it and make it even better. But the way I use it is just as a very, very rough general overview to see how things are going and keep track of things, not necessarily count every single dollar. That's something that I prefer to leave to the end of the year when I do my taxes. Then I break down the details like the mileage and the car, like I said, so I can see an accurate picture. But for the month to month, that's a cash accounting quick overview. Gives me the insights I need to plan ahead, see how each month is going. And if you love that video, hit like, subscribe, and click the next one about my net worth at 27, which is very realistic. It's not over the top, and we need some more realism on YouTube.